Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And here's your host, Conrad Cushman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 61 of the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast. I am your host, Conrad Cushman, and we are back today with two previews. We will have a preview for WWE Super ShowDown, and we will also have a preview for New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors Finals. Both of these cards are shaping up. The Best of the Juniors one is, I should say. WWE's, I've got some issues with some of it, and we'll talk about it when we get into the previews. But before you guys get into the previews, I want to let you know, make sure you click that subscribe button. However you're listening to the podcast, make sure it's your preferred method. You guys can click that subscribe button and always be caught up on everything pro wrestling. It is greatly appreciated. Anybody who listens to the show, thank you so much, and I will try to bring you something that's entertaining and something you can interact with as well. Now, with that being said, in the description box, we will have a link tree for Everything Pro Wrestling. That's where you can find my merch, YouTube channel, other ways to listen to the podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and more. And we will also have the link tree for Brainbuster Radio. Brainbuster Radio is a group of elite podcasters. We have been working hard for you guys, coming up with some new ideas also. We got some stuff on the way that I think you guys are really going to like from myself and the rest of the team. And we have a link tree down below. You guys can catch me every Saturday on Brainbuster Radio. Make sure you subscribe to that as well. But enough of that. Let's talk about this show that's going to be happening in Saudi Arabia. Bruh. I'm sorry, I apologize. What I meant to say was a show taking place in Jeddah. Because for some odd reason, the WWE doesn't want to say Saudi Arabia. I wonder if it's because of what happened last time. I know you guys, if you've been listening to me for a while, you guys have heard me call this show Sweet Saudi Money. I've taken the Solid Monster Sweet Saudi Money to Electric Bungaloo. I have called this Sweet Saudi Money 3, Blood Money in the Bank, whatever you guys want to call it. It doesn't matter. These shows feel very, very different than the rest. Number one, the marketing of WWE Super ShowDown, before we get into it, they are trying to compare this to WrestleMania, which I find very odd. I don't think it lives up to the grandeur and has the history of WrestleMania, even though it's taking place in a stadium-like atmosphere and they're trying to do new things. So, So WWE is making its third trip to the country of Saudi Arabia. They are under a 10-year agreement with the Saudi General Sports Authority that began in 2018. The show is taking place Friday, June 7th. They're going to be having it take place in their big sports city stadium in Jeddah. It's going to start at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're going to have some type of pre-show festivities leading us in, not surprising us. But it's going to start at 2 p.m. So if you guys want to watch the show, make sure you're on the WWE network at that time. Oh boy. We've got some stuff to talk about with this event. Let's get through some of the other matches that are here right now. Let's start with Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party. This is an advertised match. It's going to be a handicap match with Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party. I think this is a wise move on WWE's part if they're trying to put Lars Sullivan over as this monster heel. He can go in there and work with three smaller guys. And for some odd reason, I feel like Lars Sullivan works better with smaller people. Because as you guys can see, when he comes out, there's a height discrepancy with him. The cameras are always shooting from the bottom up. Because Lars is a big guy, but compared to other people, he's not that big of a guy. So you want to make him seem like he's a monster for now. And then once people have that in their head that, hey, that Lars Sullivan dude's a monster, he can just roll through people. Lucha House Party is unfortunately going to be at the expense of all this. They get some television time out of it, but they're not on 205 Live. They're not in a tag match. I'm just not a fan of the Lucha House Party. I don't like their gimmick. I feel it's outdated, played out, something that I would have expected to see from WWE in the 90s, not now. And I don't know. It just seems wrong. Guys coming out with piñatas, throwing candy in the crowd and stuff. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I guess this is a feud if you want to say that. I don't know. I just think that the Lucha House Party will be dismantled very quickly, and this is going to be the beginning of Lars Sullivan actually trying to get that push that he desires. Here's the weird thing. They're teasing on SmackDown that he's going to talk. Don't let him talk. I think it's going to take away from the mystique. Let Lars just kind of do his thing for right now and keep him mysterious. Let him just use his badass theme and just keep rolling with things. I don't want to see him do interviews at this point. I'm hoping that maybe someone comes out to interrupt him, fight him in a exhibition match or something on SmackDown, but we'll see what happens. But my prediction for this one is Lars Sullivan picks up the win. I assume that they're going to do this match early on because it doesn't sound like they're promoting it as a big deal like it was with the Greatest Royal Rumble. This is the largest battle royal in WWE history. Now, it's scheduled to have 50 superstars in here, and they're all vying to toss each other over the top rope. I don't know if this is the biggest battle royal WWE's ever had. I didn't do my research on their battle royal schemes, but they're promoting it like it is. There's no prize for anything at the moment, so it looks like it's all for I'm the battle royal competitor that won tonight. So it doesn't look like anything's going to affect storylines going forward. You know, what would it mean to have a number one contendership involved in this? But 50-man battle royal. The question is, who wins this? There's a lot of people who you could probably potentially see winning this. I am just going to go with a random pick here, and I'm going to go with The Miz. Or you know what? No, Braun won it last time, and he was a babyface. Let's go with a heel. I have no idea. Give me Elias for the win. I'm picking Elias to win the 50-man battle royal. I don't think there's going to be any rhyme or reason for it. Hopefully we get some surprises in there or some new superstars. I've heard rumors of NXT guys getting called up to participate in this. That's cool. Whatever. I wouldn't mind seeing them, but not necessary. Let's get to the next match. If you saw my Monday Night Raw review on YouTube, oh my goodness. I could not deal with this, bro. An arm wrestling match on Monday Night Raw in 2019 when we're talking about how bad the show is. Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Here's the thing. I'm not going to dismiss this because this could be one of those big men fights that work. I just did a review with my man Hubbard, Sean Hubbard from Hubbard Weekly Wrestling Podcast. Shout out to you, brother. We did a review of WrestleMania 6, and who would have ever thought that Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior would be a good match? Even if you told me that as a little kid, I would have been like, nah, you're crazy, bro. It's not going to be the best match on the card. But it was that night. And maybe these guys are going to have the same kind of luck here. Maybe they go in there and they tear stuff up. We'll have to see. Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. Guys, who could care less about this? There are two guys to me who are stuck in neutral. They're going nowhere. They need to figure out roles for them, meaningful roles, and figure out what they want to do. For this match, I don't even know who needs to win more. I feel like they both do. Give me Braun as the safe pick. I'm going to go with Braun Strowman for the victory here. And yeah, that's it. I think that they're just going to continue in these same roles. The WWE brand right now lacks substance. Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley is the perfect example of what I'm talking about with lacking substance, character, charisma. And that's no shot at either performer. I think that they both can go in there and wrestle a heck of a match. I just think that there's nothing intriguing about it. Put a storyline behind this and it'd be so much better. Yeah, so Strowman for me. Here's the match I think that could be match of the night if given the proper amount of time and letting these guys go in there and do their thing. For the Intercontinental Championship, we're supposed to have Finn Balor, who we haven't seen since Money in the Bank. that spot with Andrade powerbombing him on the ladder is still brutal. I have it sitting in my watch later section on YouTube so I can just go back and look at it. I don't know how Finn survived that. Just a beast. Finn Balor is taking on Andrade for the Intercontinental Championship. I think this is going to be an incredible match. These two have really good chemistry. I thought they really delivered when they had Andrade first go to Raw, supposedly, before the wild card crap. And I think he did a good job. And we're supposed to believe right now that we're going to get Demon Finn Balor. So my prediction is Finn Balor is going to win this match, but I don't think the feud with him and Andrade will be over after this. And I wonder how the people in Jeddah will react to the Demon, because people like Aleister Black couldn't go to the event and Sami Zayn and such. But if he comes out dressed like the Demon, I don't know if they'd be against that. I'm not familiar with all of their cultural rules, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it. I personally can't wait to see this match. So Finn Balor is the victor for me. Triple H versus Randy Orton. The Evolution feud that we've seen way, way too many times. If you're sick of seeing Randy Orton versus John Cena, then you have to know that probably a couple of feuds, maybe directly right behind it, is Randy Orton Triple H. I've seen this since 2005 over and over and over again. And these guys have history. I think that Randy's an incredible wrestler still, and he still has something to offer the business. Triple H, I would more so like to see him in his backstage role, executive role with NXT. I think he does a good job with that, and that's where I'd like to see him. But they basically put together a video package going way back to their feud, and it's kind of played out. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. They had SmackDown 1000. They were buddies going out there talking about Evolution, have had no interaction since, and now they're going to fight each other just because it's happening. So now they care about making each other look bad and everything else. What are you two getting out of this? But Triple H versus Randy Orton will probably be very cool for the people of Jeddah to see, because they've never seen this matchup. So I don't know. Hopefully they have fun with this. My prediction for this one is I think Randy Orton needs the victory more than Triple H. So I'm going to go with Randy Orton to RKO him out of a pedigree for the victory on this one. That's going to be my little crazy prediction for it. Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon. Dude, I don't know. They're killing Roman, man. Putting Roman Reigns on both brands as a babyface at this point is just not smart. I need a drink. Hold on here. Man. Sorry about that. Roman Reigns. He's just been, I don't know, the wild card rule is the Roman Reigns rule. He's been on every show, every time. Can't miss him. And I think the fans are turning on him once again. Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon used to be probably the favorite McMahon to see because you rarely saw him. And Shane was out of the limelight for a little bit. And now people are probably clamoring towards Linda McMahon as the favorite McMahon. I like Shane in the ring, but I think we've seen way too much of Shane. And I don't know if he's a ratings draw or what. I mean, I could kind of see it with my friends who casually watch wrestling. They're always like, oh, that's Shane McMahon. Okay, I haven't seen him for a long time. And they kind of stick around for the show a little bit longer because Shane McMahon's on it. I understand why they're using him. I just think it's too much for people who watch all the time. Just my opinion. Roman Reigns versus Shane, though. I think this is going to be a decent feud here. I don't know what Roman's plans are for SummerSlam. And I feel like this is going to have to continue. But maybe we're going to get Roman versus Drew again. I don't know. But for now, I'm picking Roman Reigns to win this one. I think Shane's going to eat a spear and hopefully doesn't get concussed like he did at Survivor Series. So Roman Reigns picks up the victory here. Let's get to the two main world title matches. And we got to talk about the Money in the Bank briefcase as well with both of these. First, the WWE Championship. My man, Kofi Kingston. Boom, boom, boom. Versus Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler returned to television out of nowhere to attack Kofi Kingston to talk about how jealous he was of him, basically, and not getting Kofi's spot because he worked just as hard as Kofi. That's true, but Kofi's likable. To me, that's what this storyline is. Kofi's more likable than you, Dolph. Sorry. I think Kofi has done a hell of a job as WWE champion, and he's getting the short end of the stick because his matches have been like the second best match of the night and not the main. So he's kind of getting like pushed to the side a little bit. Pay attention to Kofi Kingston's matches. He's delivering. So Dolph Ziggler has attacked Kofi. He's attacked Xavier Woods. I think that this is going to be Kofi Kingston's match. Now, in a Twitter group I'm part of, I saw a young lady put up there that she believes that Brock Lesnar is cashing in on Kofi Kingston after this match to become the WWE champion. Dear Lord, I pray that that does not happen. But that's her prediction. She thinks that Brock's going to cash in on this match, and that's what's going to happen. I don't want to see that happen. I feel like Kofi deserves the title run at least till SummerSlam. We're almost there. Let Kofi rock out for at least a month or two more. Kofi's done a good job, I feel. He's done what he could do with what he's been given. That's just my 2 cents on that match. Now, the Universal Championship match. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. That's right. Somebody booked this. And it's not... Here's the thing. I don't hate Baron Corbin. I said this a million times. Baron Corbin is not bad. It's just the way they portray him on television is bad. And I don't know if it's got to be Vince. Well, I can't even blame the writers anymore. I don't like the look of the gear he's wearing. I don't like the attitude he portrays. I thought he was better as the Lone Wolf, personally. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins took a bad beating from Brock Lesnar. Now, the belief is that since Brock Lesnar won Money in the Bank, he was going to cash in on Monday Night Raw this week. Brock said no, he's waiting till Friday. So they're going to keep doing this bait and switch game. I'm not falling for it. I think that Rollins shows up. Lesnar is not, I don't know. If Lesnar's there in some sort of way, then that's it. I mean, he may show up and tease that he's cashing in, but he doesn't. But I can't see him doing it. I think that Rollins picks up the win over Corbin and he figures out a way to hang on to his belt, gets away or whatever, or Lesnar punishes him and he decides not to cash in again. My prediction for the win is Seth Rollins. Those are going to be my prediction for the Crown Jewels show. Or I'm sorry, I said Crown Jewel, excuse me. WWE Super Showdown. They don't know what the hell they're calling it. The Sands of Time. No one cares. Half the people aren't watching this show. I'm debating on if I will be doing a review of it because I am going to miss the first hour and a half because I work during that time. So if not, I may hop on and kind of just do a live stream watching the event with you guys, or maybe I'll discuss some points and say like, hey, what'd you guys enjoy about this, this, and this? We'll figure something out. Just keep your eyes locked on the YouTube channel. Make sure you click subscribe. We're getting real close to that 400 mark, guys. And we're trying to get to the goal of 500 before SummerSlam. Let's make it happen. Tell your friends. If you got your friend's phone, go on to YouTube, type in Everything Pro Wrestling, and click subscribe. Help a brother out. And speaking of helping brothers out, let's talk about everything college basketball. 3 of my good friends, Josh, Peyton, and Tyler Cook, are the host of Everything College Basketball. They are currently talking about all of the off-season updates that you guys need to be up to date for next season. They are talking about the latest in recruiting, the latest in college basketball news, all that and more on their podcast. So make sure you check out my friends, Everything College Basketball.
This is MLW referee Doug Markham, and you're listening to Everything Pro Wrestling with Conrad Cushman.
New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors Finals is going to be taking place on June 5th. And this is going to be tremendous. So this is going to be happening tomorrow. I know I'm late with the preview, but I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the matches and some of the stuff that you need to know about this event. First, what is the Best of the Super Juniors? The Best of the Super Juniors is a yearly tournament put on by New Japan Pro Wrestling to showcase their junior heavyweight wrestlers. Now, some of the wrestlers that have been in this tournament in the past include names like Eddie Guerrero, Tiger Mask, Jushin Thunder Liger, Finn Balor, just to name a few. In the current format, competitors are split into two groups, Block A, Block B, and they must face each other competitor in a round-robin style tournament. Points are awarded for victories, and the winners of each group face off in a final match to determine the winner. And the overall victor usually ends up getting a title shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I believe the finals is going to main event from the way the card is structured. But let's get into the entire card. Now, what I believe will be the opening match will be Dragon Lee, Titan, and Umino versus Jonathan Gresham, Bandito, and Narita. So for this match, I'm going with Dragon Lee's team to get the win. I feel Dragon Lee needs to be kept strong for storyline purposes. I'm not going to get too deep into it. Just know it involves my man Daryl eventually. And I think we're going to see something soon. We've been talking about this for a while. If you've listened to previews with me and Robert, or if you've listened to like Wilford Watches, we've been talking about this and when's the right moment to execute the return. And we're going to have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to be on this night, though. So Dragon Lee picks up the win to be kept strong. Next, we have Takagi, Yo, and Show of Roppongi 3K versus Ishimori, El Phantasmo, and Robbie Eagles. This will be a great match, I think, as well. I think the Bullet Club need the win here. It keeps all of their new guys strong. Ishimori needs a victory. He's been kind of quiet in some aspects to me. He's not in the title picture really right now. So I think you give the Bullet Club the victory here just to show that there's still a force within New Japan Pro Wrestling. Next, we have a 5-on-5 tag match. Definitely going to be fun. Both teams look pretty stacked. You have Ishii, Yano, YOSHI-HASHI, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tiger Mask versus Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., Keimaru, and the one and the only Doki. So Doki, I really don't know too much about. I'm not familiar with his work and if he's going to be a big difference maker in New Japan. But I'm going with Ishii, Yano, YOSHI-HASHI, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tiger Mask. I feel like we got to get Liger some wins here, and hopefully they let Liger shine. And I really want to see him get a big match at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know. Jushin Thunder Liger was one of my favorites. One of the first Japanese wrestlers I saw because of WCW. And the moment I saw him, I was hooked. I've been a fan of his ever since I was a little kid. So definitely cool. And I'm a big fan of Ishii. That's my guy right there. The Stone Pitbull is the shit. Let's get to the next match, which is going to be is this a 4-on-4 match? Yes. So we're going to have Kota Ibushi, Makabe, Honma, and Henare versus Naito, Evil, SANADA, and BUSHI. Ooh-wee. This looks like it'll be a very fun match here. Lots of talent in this one. I'm going to go with Naito, Evil, SANADA, and BUSHI for the victory, though. I feel like they're going to lead to a big rematch with Naito and Ibushi down the line. Or you could even put it where SANADA, I'm waiting for SANADA to break away because this guy is going to be, mark my words, this guy is going to be a singles champion very soon in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's got all the tools. I think they're just trying to figure out a way to separate him and put him in a singles division. So give me Naito's team for the victory on that one. Next up, we have a tag team match. We are going to have Okada and Rocky Romero versus Marty Scurll and Brody King. This is going to probably be a fun match, but I got to go with Okada and Rocky Romero for the win. I don't see them having Okada take a loss, and he's going to be defending his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship within a couple of days against Chris Jericho from AEW. I just don't see it right now at this point. I feel like Brody King is going to take the pen in this one after a rainmaker, and give me Okada for the W here. Now we're going to have Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the Switchblade, Jay White. Oh, I feel like this is going to be a redemption match for Tanahashi. I I know they had Jay White bragging about beating Okada. This is tough because Jay White's your future, but I don't know what's the plans for Tanahashi and how long he's going to continue to go. I could see them having Tanahashi getting his revenge in this one, but I've went with a couple big dubs here so far as talent goes. You know what? I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to go with Tanahashi for the victory. I think Jay White loses this matchup as well as they start to begin to build Jay White back up to a level where they want him. I don't know if his world title run was just a test or if he was just a transitional champion or what, but Tanahashi for the win in that one. Buzz, 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 buzz. The match with all the buzz around it. We saw all those promo videos leading up to this match. We are finally going to see the IWGP United States Championship on the line as we see Juice Robinson versus Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley went into AEW, made a big splash, and then we were wondering for a little bit, who's Juice Robinson facing? Who's the guy stalking him in the bar in that video? And we finally find out that it's Jon Moxley. Man, it's tough. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. I think they're both good. I was a Juice Robinson fan even when he was in NXT, when there was like the developmental territory as CJ Parker. I feel that Juice Robinson was highly underutilized, and he has done a great job in New Japan. Absolutely love the character, and I like Juice in ring. Always fun to watch. But if you're asking my prediction at this time, I got to go with Jon Moxley. I feel like he's got the hot hand, and unless this ends in some kind of schmoz, which I don't think it will, I think Jon Moxley's going to be walking around with that IWGP United States title for a little bit. He can go over there and make shots when he needs to, and Moxley will have lots of time in between to do some things. So Moxley could walk around with the IWGP United States title over here in the U.S., make some shows when they go into the U.S. I think they could do some stuff with Moxley here. So I'm going with him for the victory in this one. And in the main event, we are going to have Will Ospreay versus Shingo for the Best of the Super Junior Finals. This is a tough one. I like how they have built this up because we have heard both men say that they would like to enter into the heavyweight division. Will Ospreay is someone who I could definitely see going in there. Will Ospreay won this tournament, I believe, in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So the question is, where do you go from here with Will Ospreay? Because I feel like he's getting ready to make that next level move. And maybe this is a passing of the torch. So as crazy as this is going to sound, I think that we're going to go with Shingo to win the tournament here. Shingo is my pick. Yes, I've convinced myself. Shingo is going to be my pick for this. We all know that the story going on with Takahashi, it's going to have to wind up Takahashi versus Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee was the one who broke his neck. I think you let Takahashi come in, get the avenge on someone who broke his neck. And it's a great story, I think, that you could tell with this. So give me Shingo for the win. I think Shingo could be the placeholder to fill in until we see Takahashi back. Rumors are he'll be back late summer. So I'm guessing you build this match up to Wrestle Kingdom. I think you could if you wanted to. I don't know how the fans are in New Japan about holding off on storylines, but I think they're patient, though. They've been patient for a lot of stuff for Wrestle Kingdom. So go the patient route. Let this guy work on himself, make sure his neck is 100% good and that he's ready to go, and give us that match. And I look forward to it, and I would love to see Takahashi recapture the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening to my preview covering New Japan Pro Wrestling, Best of the Super Junior Finals. This is going to be a show that you guys do not want to miss. Trust me. Make sure you guys check it out. talk with me on Twitter at EPW Show. We could talk about both of the previews that we have here. Let me know your predictions and thoughts on the show. We are out. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Peace.